All right, just back from Las Vegas, Summer League just winding down in Las Vegas. And I wanted to jump on here to briefly discuss everybody's favorite topic, and that is cap circumvention. I'm not talking about the Los Angeles Clippers, who are currently embroiled in one of the most complicated cap circumvention allegations in NBA history, a investigation into them that is now closing in on its 11th month with no end in sight. Adam Silver spoke about the Clippers investigation this week. He said he hoped to have it wrapped by this summer. He said it needed to be wrapped by the start of next season. Meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard, who was traded or agreed to be traded from the Clippers to the Raptors, remains in limbo, and that limbo could extend for several weeks now as the NBA awaits the full report from Wachtell Lipton. They will then presumably have to dive into that report, come to its own conclusions, and then decide if any punishment is going to be handed out. That is a topic for another day. The more interesting topic, at least this past week, was the topic of Gary Trent Jr. and the suspicion that many team executives that I talked to in Las Vegas, that the Milwaukee Bucks engaged in some shenanigans here with Gary Trent Jr. So let's set it up here. 2024, Gary Trent is coming off a terrific season with the Toronto Raptors, averaged, I think, 13-ish points per game. He was looking for a big deal. He was coming off a 3-year, $50 million deal with the Raptors. He was looking for something at least comparable, if not better. Didn't get it. Winds up signing with Milwaukee at the 1-year minimum at $2.6 million. That was back when the Bucks had Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo on the roster. Shot the ball well that first year in Milwaukee. The numbers went down overall. No surprise playing on a team like that. The next summer, he re-signs on a 2-year deal at about $7.5 million with a player option on the second year. This was last summer. This is, again, the Bucks did not have any cap space after all the maneuvers they made. They waived Damian Lillard. They signed Miles Turner, used their exception on Kevin Porter Jr. This was all they could give him at that time. Fast forward to the last couple of weeks. Milwaukee agrees to a deal with Gary Trent on a 4-year, $64 million contract. This was a shocker because last season was statistically the worst of Gary Trent Jr.'s career in a full season. He averaged career lows in points. He shot less than 40% from the floor. He was not a good defensive player, has not been a good defensive player. When I talked to executives from other teams about where they slotted Gary Trent Jr., most of them said somewhere between the taxpayer mid-level, which is around $6 million, and the veteran minimum, which is about $3.9 million. So he was not widely regarded as a player around the league. The Milwaukee Bucks turn around and give him a 4-year, $64 million deal. Now, a way of interpreting this is that the Bucks got Gary Trent on a cheap deal when they were in cap hell with Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo, got him on a below-market deal when they were still trying to piece together guys around Giannis and around Miles Turner last season. And when the books opened up, they rewarded Gary Trent with a 4-year, $64 million deal, which accounts to about $16 million per season. This, be clear, the perception of this is much more old school cap circumvention, allegedly. The Clippers aspiration case is unique. You've got a player allegedly not showing up or being contributing at all to a endorsement deal that he had that paid him $28 million. That is just unique. This one's more traditional. This one more aligns with the cap circumvention allegations that Minnesota faced about 25 years ago when they had Joe Smith. They signed him to a couple of below market deals, and then they tried to sign him to a big deal. The NBA caught wind of it. There was a paper trail in that case, and they eventually voided that contract. This will be interesting to see how it plays out. I have been told that the league is investigating this. It's not the easiest thing to prove. There are certainly ways that the Bucks could defend it, though those ways wouldn't make a heck of a lot of sense. Like, why would you pay a player like Gary Trent Jr. $16 million a year over the next 4 years? Like, when you're rebuilding, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But the NBA is going to look into it. I think it'll be interesting to see who they talk to. There's a lot of fired coaches in Milwaukee after last season. Like, how deep of an investigation are they going to do? Are they going to talk to these coaches? What are these coaches going to say? Again, how is Milwaukee going to defend it? But this will be interesting over the next couple of weeks. Now, there are some executives that I've talked to that don't really need to see a punishment. They think that having Gary Trent Jr. housed on the Bucks books at $16 million per year is kind of punishment enough for them. But there are other executives that say that if you see something like this and it looks suspicious, you've got to dive into it, because if you don't clap down on this type of thing, if you don't play whack-a-mole with this type of thing, it opens the doors up for other teams to do it, and that could open a whole Pandora's box that the NBA doesn't want to really see open. So the Clippers thing is still winding its way through the system. I would imagine weeks, if not maybe months, before that is resolved. But this Gary Trent Jr. one is more fascinating, more of a cut and dry allegation of cap circumvention that Milwaukee is going to have to come up with a good explanation to the NBA for.
Hit subscribe for more news, highlights, and analysis from the NBA on NBC.